Good morning. It's being described as the biggest national phone outage ever. More than 10 million Optus customers across Australia are in turmoil after the collapse of the telecommunications network, a tech fault affecting mobile, fixed line and broadband services. Services went down at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but it took the telco's CEO 6 hours to address the concerns, saying there's no indication it is a result of a cyber attack. Very worryingly, as we go to air, Optus customers are unable to call 000 services from a landline. The Federal Communications Minister addressed that a short time ago.
Calls to 000, the emergency service, cannot be made from Optus landline services. In relation to Optus mobiles and the ability to make 000 calls, that is operating as per the protocol that is in place, which is commonly known as camping on other networks. So where one network is not available, the mobile device will camp onto another network. I have spoken to the 000 operator and they have confirmed that this camping mechanism is working.
And let's bring in our reporters who've been following the developments all morning. Maggie Rayworth is in Sydney's CBD and Adam Hegarty is in North Melbourne for us. Maggie, first to you. Plenty of Sydney-siders have been impacted by this outage this morning.
They certainly have, Lizzie. This is a major nationwide Optus outage. Optus customers haven't been able to make phone calls or use the internet since around 4 a.m. this morning, and the ramifications have been significant. We know that phone lines at some hospitals across the state are down. FRV down south, Fire Rescue Victoria, haven't been able to take phone calls from some external phone calls, and banks have been impacted too. We're hearing call centres at the Commonwealth Bank and St George are also down, but also worryingly, EFTPOS machines across the city have also been impacted too. Those that are connected to the Optus network, we're hearing that cafes and small businesses this morning were forced to turn customers away. I've also spoken to taxis across the state as well, and they say that it's been an awful impact on them. They say that customers simply haven't been able to book taxis, but have also been left in a sticky situation when they've been left trying to pay too. Now, this morning we spoke to a cyber expert, and they say this is the longest lasting outage they've ever seen. Let's take a listen to them and some other people that have also been impacted by this outage this morning.
The longer it goes on, the more customers get frustrated and upset, because, and I've even seen here some newsrooms, you can't ring them, no one's answering. It means businesses, schools, hospitals, the whole country, if you're relying on Optus, is literally offline.
I've had to turn back about 10 customers today, and it's just something that I've never experienced in my lifetime, and unfortunately I had to close up today.
We are seeing the impact across a variety of areas impacting on passengers, whether it is trying to contact a number of call centres trying to make a booking, or using some app services, as well as the systems that are inside the vehicles are also having an impact.
It is quite frustrating. We're experiencing a lot of delays. So a lot of our customers are coming in, a lot of our corporate deal with card payments only, so it is hard to get cash.
We thought it might be some work that's been happening on our street, but obviously it's not. So in a way I'm relieved it's not just me.
Now, Optus is Australia's second largest telecommunications provider with around 10.2 million customers. Now, this morning it's important to remember that those that do need help can still call 000 in the case of an emergency. And Lizzie, at this point it's just unclear how long this outage will last.
OK, Maggie Rayworth there for us in Sydney. Let's bring in Adam Hegarty, who is in North Melbourne now, where the entire metro train network was forced to halt services during peak hour this morning. Adam, are commuters still experiencing delays?
Lizzie, absolutely. Good morning. 20-minute delays still on some lines now. Naturally, being out of peak hour and that morning commute, it's a little bit less the impact, but that morning commute this morning, absolute chaos. So on the train network between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. here in Melbourne this morning, absolutely every train service, every train line was down, but then it didn't get much better as they were getting it back online. Beyond that, getting it back onto the regular timetable. 45-minute delay minimum at a time for people trying to get into the city from all the suburbs in particular, and then also several train services and lines cancelled still throughout that peak hour period. Bit of a carry-on effect too with Uber and rideshare, huge surges there there to meet demand, so quite an expensive alternative commute for a lot of people who are making that decision. And as we just heard from Maggie in Sydney, businesses and cafes here also impacted in a similar way.
I'm not in a very good mood. I've got 5 medical conditions. I've got an appointment in Ringwood at 8:30 or something. I'm never going to make it now.
We had a bit of a freak out because we were like, oh, the EFTPOS machine is not working. So we had to hotspot it to our phone. But the thing is, the printer's not working because it's connected to the internet that's not working. So I've had to rely on writing down the orders.
And Lizzie, drama's here also for several major hospitals' external calls not going in.
Okay, Adam Hegarty there for us in Melbourne. Meanwhile, the driver behind the wheel